Greetings and welcome to the energy of Scorpio. This is Ron from Tarot of the Twin Sun. Tarot of the Twin Sun is a functional division within the Order of the Twin Sun. Please take only what you will. I do thank you for your continued support of the channel. Thank you, as well as the major transformations that are occurring now, that may be occurring for the energy of Scorpio. We'll go ahead and look into some of the karmic aspects before going into the Great Mirror, which is a tool devised in order to see the karmas that may be apparent for the energy of Scorpio and the particular other. Okay, now this particular other is tied directly to the second house, as well as lessons coming from the first and the third, meaning that there is a voice that needs to be had in terms of this reading that can be understood and known. It can be something to self-identify with. This is usually projection of the subtle body, as well as the idea of the self and the idea of mastering through the guise of the student ways and means to manipulate accordingly with the mastery that comes through the hands and the hands of the self, or the hand of the Buddha. So we'll go ahead and look into that tool after a bit of a karma reading. There is a quest of truth here that has to do with revision in the past, tapping into unknown forms of hidden esotericism, or perhaps the left hand, something where there's something to be gleaned about repression, okay? What is repressed are thoughts that lead to usually pain or some sort of indication of memory, and these essentially taking secondary place to what can be learned in terms of breaking free in a fearless way, okay? If there is fear now, it has to do with what has come from the past and what may be influencing in terms of energetic resonances that have to do with the quest for truth, okay? A double truth that is very deep in nature. If there is a need to suppress emotions here, which I see very strongly, it has to do with the purification of the mind, and so that they may not be colored by intuitive corruptions. The idea here is to come with the clarity of mind that has to do with addressing what plagues the mind, okay? This has to do with deep psychological regression, as well as the ability to understand elements of joylessness, okay? Wherein there is a lack of camaraderie with others, there is the element of truth that comes through gleaning in a retrospective way, a way to find a voice, okay? So there's also here a leap of faith that may need to be taken. This has to do with the fall of situations of the past and how to become a master of communicating with those in a peaceful place, to becoming a student from a peaceful place in order to understand the motivations of the past. Okay, this has to do also with embracing communities, what crowns this and what is below this. Let's see here. It's the Ace as well, the Four of Swords. This comes through a deep need for peace of mind, clarity and peace of mind, okay? What may be burdensome is the very fact that consciously and through thoughts that become known, these become burdens for those concerned within this reading. There is a need to find the ability to find equanimity within the mind, and this requires a great deal of restriction. This also brings forward the idea that there may be a type of fear when it comes to unearthing that which has been regressed in some sort of way. Okay, but truth is coming, a voice is coming, and it's going to be made itself known. Okay, and it will help to create a type of stability for the energy of Scorpio, which I like. That has to do with essentially the second house and Taurian energy. So let's move into the Great Mirror. I shall use a very rare deck, Cartomanzia Italiana, Cantarocci, Tarocci. So this is a very old deck from 1983. Son of a gun to shuffle, but we'll go ahead and use it anyway. It's a beautiful deck. Conteroccia. Okay. When it comes to the dream world, as well as the ability to feel in a nostalgic way anything that emotes a response, okay? When it comes to intuition, when it comes to the dream world, when it comes to the astral realm, there is something that is coming in the form of a secret, something that you or another may be devoted to. It has to do with healing that has not occurred, and it has not occurred because a choice was made in order to find a hidden path. Okay, this hidden path has to do with why things have not worked out, yet there is strength to be had within all of this. It also activates your seventh house with Taurian energy, the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, the mode of independence here has to do with Gemini energy as well as La Forza, Fortuna, the ability to find gateways that will understand through their emerging and through their transference the basic primitivistic as well as animalistic functions of your empowerment, okay, how these come from a base impulse and drive. So if you look into the etheric realm to your dream sequences, there's healing that is intentionally avoided in order to find a hidden path that has to do with things not working out and how things have become empowered because of doing so. There also is something that needs to be said, imported in some sort of way, but it's going against numb people or numb minds, numb communities, numb others. You're dealing here with someone who's very much concerned with their isolation, with the ability to find a method but not being able to find it. What else? They are dry in some sort of way. Dry. There's a dry spell here. Also a spiritual quest that needs to be understood. It has to do with going deeply within. We have here also the Ten of Cups in reverse, Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Eight of Swords in the reverse. Okay. Now, Eight of Swords in reverse usually talks about getting or breaking free from a way of thinking, a psychosis, getting out of a social prison that they have imposed upon themselves and breaking free in order to get to what exactly? A way of thinking, okay, there's a lot in terms of their quest for enlightenment. This is a spiritual person, someone who is perhaps aware, at least, of that type of depth, which does not strike me at all. The problem is that they have not reached the path of the Hierophant. Okay, they have not found the proper ways to invest their time. Yet they do want to essentially find a sense of equilibrium through temperance as well as the Fool's Journey. Okay, so this type of person requires a lot of faith, yet they require the faith to be within themselves as well. That's something that they want to adhere to. We have here the King of Cups. There's the Hierophant. That was you that was missing. Il Papa. Okay, so this has to do with the type of sacrifice, one that comes from the ascendant in Scorpio into the 7th of Taurus, excuse me. This also speaks of a death cycle, okay, Taurus and the Il Papa, which is the Hierophant, as well as La Morte, which is death, is here. We have 8, the 2. Okay, so a choice has been made, and this is devised, or this has sort of separated you two in terms of foundational resonances. It's very difficult to recompense from or recover from this, but it's something that both of you contributed to in terms of the foundation, and then breaking that into, okay, it is left a pair of rectangles in terms of fairness. They are equal in nature, and they create the foundation together, but they have made a choice, a hidden choice, or perhaps the choice was out of their hands. It was made by a higher order, okay, and it's something that you may be devoted to, or you want to be devoted to. Something about you does not want to give to the situation. In this way, you reflect the Ace of Cups in reverse with them. There's something about the path that is pure, that is within one's own best interest in terms of a higher order. The thing is that the Hierophant points to this direction. There's something here about the 2 of rods, okay, that wants to make itself known, how things were consciously chosen in such a way that the Hierophant that reflects you essentially is in the 5 of Pentacles. Okay, so there's a lot of reflection here. You're dealing here with someone of equal nature, meaning that if you have invested in certain things, okay, if you have made commitments or promises to this person, they are difficult to totally reflect, because the cups are in the reverse, and there's something of purgation here, or at least a letting go of, in terms of that energy. We also have here an activation of Gemini, so it moves from the 3rd to the 2nd house, okay, which is a house backwards. There also is, in this card, essentially a way to bring forward peace, a way to actually magically, in a way, forcefully, willfully bring forward a type of praxis, with this person. In this respect, both of you reflect each other with Sagittarius and Gemini, 7 houses away from each other. This is a relationship or a situation of deep significance. At the same time, there is difficulty in making the Saturnian need here to execute the passage of time in order for things to transform in some sort of way. We have here the 10 of Pentacles in reverse, okay? Commitments, promises, idealizations of greatness, okay? And on an incidental level for both of you, in terms of incidents, in terms of this iteration of time and space, there's difficulty in terms of making the transformation occur in terms of expectations of each other in order to bring forward a certain reality. Okay, so general angst is here, a need to learn through mutability, through flexibility, and find a sense of peace, breaking free from restriction. But then there is the hint of fear or inner destruction, especially when it comes to trying to find states of peace and restfulness, and then this being irrevocably transformed through Mars energy, actions that create transformative effects for those both concerned, especially when it comes to the terms and conditions that are impressed upon each other. Okay, so it's not easy. Ultimately, though, this is a deep and significant transformative energy here that revolves around the energy and auspices of Mars for both of you. And the expectations are great with the Seven of Pentacles moving to the Eight of Pentacles. There is a method that you can learn from in the ways and means of love and expression of love that can be very beneficial in terms of finding out the DNA and the proper mapping and the overall structure of this type of code. A lot of what both of you share is secret in nature, and it's difficult because the expectations have to sort of there's an adding to the expectations, and this creates a method or a praxis, a way of doing things in order to find a sense of perfection. Okay, causing and releasing tension throughout time, as well as expectation throughout time. This is a very interesting connection in that whomever you're dealing with, they carry the rod of power, and they encompass a lot of Martian energy that is transformed through Jupiter, and it brings about an effect, a truth that comes through action. Okay, so if they are looking for a path when it comes to Dharma, they may find it, but it may be exclusive of you, or perhaps there's something about you that has been influential enough to show that you are invested in the right things in order to bring forward a type of peace, okay, with another. That is what I see for this type of reading. There also is, in terms of advice, la carazza, which is the chariot, in the reverse. Okay, so it speaks of a great reservoir of love as well as emotional resonances and intuitions. Okay, primarily intuitions of knowing that lead to a sense of powerlessness. Okay, well, it's very esoteric in that respect. There is yes. Okay, so this requires a lot of passionlessness. The passions are a burden in this connection. Perhaps you must release the fire and the verve of Mars that they encompass, that they inhabit, in order to find a sense of stability, okay, a sense of clarity, especially with looking into the future and with your ability to clairvoyantly or clairaudiently hear a message from the future, okay. Further advice revolves around finding ways for the King of Cups in order to purify. Sometimes, in order to purify love, sometimes you must release it. That is what I see for the energy of Scorpio. Thank you. Bye bye.